what's up everybody? It's your favorite quadruples favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Iron Factory Primal Commander. This is their take on a Transmetal Prime, I don't know, some Beast Wars Prime. I've been told what it is 1,000 times. I've reviewed a few of these representations. People keep telling me what it is and I keep forgetting. I appreciate trying to educate me on it. I'm just gonna forget again because I don't care. But what I do care about are quality toys, and Iron Factory has a tendency to make a quality toy, so I'm anxious to take a look at this guy. It's on loan to me from Robert D, of course, one of the 4 dummies. So with that, let's take a look at him, but in order to do so, we gotta start with accessories. So this is something new. He comes with interchangeable fingers. It doesn't affect the thumb at all. In fact, there's no thumb on these, and you can see how they just pull off and peg in. Just with your base plastic yellow cast. He comes with a rifle. It breaks down into a number of pieces, which we'll take a look at here in a second. Decent enough sculpt, not a lick of paint. He'll hold it, though, with it pegging into the palm in typical Masterpiece style, which I feel like we don't usually see with Legends, but that's how he holds it. Now, the weapon can break down into a number of pieces. Let's try to figure out. There's a tab here that goes into a slot there, and then this has a peg. You set that aside, and then these 2 pieces are separate as well with a peg into there. That can be used on any port on the figure that matches, you know, in robot mode, 3mm port. There's also a tab on the opposite side of the cannon that you can use to tab into a number of places on the figure itself as well. In Gorilla mode, on his back, there are 2 tabs. You can plug 2 of those pieces into those tabs. Now, I'm not going to show you where all of the accessory pieces go unless it's stuff like this. The other stuff that's not covered here, I don't know why this is eating me up, but it is. Oh, there, because I'm not using the right one. If it's something that's part of the transformation, then we'll cover it during the transformation. In jet mode, you use the tab of this gun onto the bottom of the nose cone, and you use this piece, and it kind of just pegs in here with tension, it feels like. So, you know, which it works well enough. And then for kind of tank mode or whatever this thing is, you can just have your gun with the main handle flipped up and the little handle flipped out and plug it into that 5mm port at the top there. So let's take a look at the figure. And the head is really well sculpted and painted, to be fair. Actually, the paint on this guy in general looks pretty beautiful. But we have metallic blue paint, metallic silver paint, green paint, and then the yellow plastic is flat, like a, you know, the cast. Really, really, really phenomenal. It's on a ball peg, and that ball peg is on a hinge. Using both, you can get the head up fairly far and down quite nice. Swivel and confused dog look, no issues. You got these 2 shoulder cannons. They are on hinges. They will get up for posing or down so that you can see his face. I think that that's important when a character has those type of weapons. And then we have for the body, we have blue metallic paint and then some gunmetal paint there, as well as the silver details and accents, as well as this black paint. Really, really, really well decoed. We have a waist swivel, no issues there, and we have a ab crunch. Just kind of hitting all the points so far, and blue translucent right there. For the shoulders, a little complicated, but we have a hinge here at the base of the shoulder. That will also extend and collapse for aesthetics. But it will also get you just well, I mean, I think the arm, because this angle here splits again at an additional hinge. If you see that, you can get 90 degrees. So no issues there. You also get a swivel around. Using the double hinge, you can get the arm in front of the body and a backward movement with this hinge here. Really, really, really not gonna have an issue. Metallic red, gunmetal, good to go. The wings, you can get your flap on. They got their green paint and silver paint, and they swivel 360. Bicep swivel, double hinged elbow, get you the full run with silver and gunmetal. And then we have the wrist. These fingers do pop off often. While we're on the hands, well, let me show you the wrist. So they'll swivel around. You also get some up and down movement and in and out. It's slight, but it's there. For the fingers, they're all attached at a base pin knuckle and then a secondary knuckle for a double jointed kind of hinge here, but this piece here kind of fills the gap, so it looks good. But if you're gonna articulate it, it's always gonna be showing you like the French flipper trick from Batman Returns. And then we have a ball peg going into the palm, coming out to a hinge for the thumb. Same for the other side. All right, hips, we have silver paint here. T-jointed ball joints for hips that get you the full Van Damme and the full Monty. We have a thigh swivel at a cut joint. We have a double jointed knee for the full run. Silver paint completely on the thighs. Metallic blue paint, silver paint, green paint, metallic red paint. I mean, come on. Speaking my language. All right, we have feet. They're on a hinge here connected to a ball peg. That'll get you an ankle tilt up. You can use this too for support, an ankle tilt down. Like I said, heel support. Metallic red, metallic silver on the toes. You get a toe hinge up, and you get a rocker on a ball peg. So pretty much perfect articulation. Perfect. For a relatively larger, bulkier figure. And there he is from the back. I mean, just outstanding stuff. Size comparison wise, there he is with our two standard uses, which is the Legends class Stunticon from Hasbro and the old school Iron Factory scale of Blaster. So big fella, and then there he is with Iron Factory Tarn, and I think that's the perfect size for like a large Prime figure to kind of, you know, tower over a Decepticon of this stature. All right, so let's get him transformed. Flip your guns up, unpeg the shoulders here from the back, open up this backpack, and flip out the gorilla head. Once you've done that, you can tuck the robot head back in. This will come out, and now you want to use one of your parts forming pieces from the weapon and plug that in to the side of your guns. You know, put that down, and then bring your ape head up and over, and that will sit on top. Now on the back here, you want to spin around your translucent pieces so that they sit at the front and form around the chest of the gorilla. And then use your double jointed shoulders here to position your monkey arms in a higher kind of location, and then you can spin those back around 180. All right, now where the cockpit is, you can spill that back, bring these parts of his backpack around. They'll peg in to these two side tabs, these yellow tabs here, and that will secure the waist movement. For the legs, open up these flaps, collapse this down, and then when these come back up, they don't really like close all the way. Like there's a hinge here, so they'll kind of come up one and then wrap around. And then you just bring this guy forward, sort out all the ape bits, and I mean, that's basically it. So I'll get him cleaned up, we'll take a look at him. And there he is. I love that the head is so articulated, because you got this hinge that sits way back at the bottom here that comes out to a ball peg. And as a result, I mean, he's just very animated. And like, you can kind of beat the system. There's enough here to beat the system to get some really kind of like character-driven poses out of him. For the face, we had the metallic blue, we had the white teeth painted on the inside, and we had the red of the eyes, but that's actually light piping. And then we have silver on the top of the head here, and the jaw does articulate, it closes and opens. For the chest, we have this translucent, and then we have the gunmetal gray. The shoulders are articulated the same way, do you know what I mean? And then you could hinge them any way you want. It's just this is the transformation. And then the legs, you get the hips, and then you get the feet. And because the feet are so well articulated, it really does allow you to kind of get him balanced very well. You also still get the swivel, you get the ab crunch, so Yeah, it's pretty effective. There he is with Tiger Tracks. All right, now we have to undo a lot of what we've done. So bring back the old monkey head and disconnect from the sides here. You can disconnect the chest and flip this all the way back. You're gonna flip the head in once, in twice, 3 times a gorilla. And then spin this up, which are the 2 shoulder mounted weapons. And then I think you want to have his head spun around. Bring his head back towards where it was to start off in robot mode. But you need to flip this black piece out from his chest to bring the canopy or canopies up and around to cover down on his face. And you can bring back the landing gear. And then, oh, look at this. Look what they made me do. And then flip this out. There's no way I'm going to get in there. Tool-wise. There we go. And then flip that out. Now we need to rotate the metallic blue pieces again so that our translucent piece can come up and tab in to that little groove right there. Makes me a little nervous. There, tight fit, Mac. All right. There. And then we can fold in the monkey head and then spin the waist 180. All right, so our next step is gonna be to spin the 180. And we can connect the legs. On this side, we're going to use our ankle tilt to sort of get all of that collapsed the best we can on the back. And let's fiddle with these arms. So bring these back around. The burgundy piece will peg into the blue piece. And then make a fist with your hand here. You want to have the wings oriented in a way where this will tab into there. And we're gonna do the same on this side. So spin around, plug in to the blue metallic bits, and spin your wing around. Look for the notch. Using your bicep swivel, find the corresponding notch and peg in. And then finally, flip up your silver bits on the burgundy pieces. You can bring up these pieces completely. And I think that might be it. Either way, I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. Jet mode, I will say, is a bit more kind of suggestive. I guess it works well enough, and you can fiddle with some stuff to kind of get it to your liking. Like a lot of this stuff, you can kind of have it wherever you want it. It's just where the instructions tell you to have it. See, it rolls kind of well enough. Using this like one wheel here, I feel like you could probably sort it a bit. I don't know. I don't think that this is as successful as the other 2 modes, but if they were going to compromise on modes, I would prefer them not compromise on the gorilla and on the robot. So in that regard, you know, fine, I suppose. Let's see what else I got for you. Oh yeah, Tiger Tracks. And there's one thing I missed, obviously, because I just figured it out. I was like, man, these yellow hands are really off-putting. So this cover here is tabbed in here. You can undo that, pull it off of the forearm, and move it down, and then cover back down on the fist. And that does make it look better, I have to admit. So, good. That's a plus. All right, one more mode to go. Let's flip up the nose cone here. We need to flip the burgundy piece around, and once we've done so, we can bring out the forearm piece and then swing it out to the front, I believe. I'll double check that. I'm pretty sure. Same over here. And then the wings kind of go back and are angled, but you can just get them out of your way, whatever's easiest for the time being. And then on your feet, you just spin them 180 again. And then the last thing you want to do is disconnect this piece from these two guns here. And I've already shown you what you can do with that. So I'll clean them up. We'll take a look at them. So once again, I feel like this thing is more suggestive than the first two modes, but that's kind of part of the design of the vehicle anyway. It will roll. You know, you got to adjust all this, but it will roll even with the monkey paws kind of just dragging along the ground. You know, I don't know, dude. It's fine. I kind of think that, you know, every one of these that I've looked at has kind of, you know, been some varying degree of fine. I think that this does, I guess, as good a job as any. I'm not exactly sure what people want from something like this, not only from design standpoint, but from function standpoint. There it is with Tiger Tracks. Final thoughts wise, let's talk about the negatives. So my biggest negative here, honestly, is the hands. The swap out fingers bit, it doesn't really work all that well. It's a cool idea and concept. It's just that the tolerance is a little off. And I find as you manipulate it, especially using the gun, being as though the gun is a sizable unit, it tends to knock the fingers off, bust the gun out of the hand, etc., etc., etc. It's just kind of frustrating in that regard. My only other criticism is that the alt modes are a little, you know, on the suggestive side, but, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, that might be more of a design issue than it actually is an issue with the figure. Let's just be honest. It is a suggestive alt mode, both of them. So I'm not sure how much of that issue this guy should be asked to pay the cost for. Moving on to the positives, I don't know where to begin. First and foremost, it's painted beautifully, especially for a Legends figure. But honestly, for most figures, there's a lot of paint on this thing, and it's appreciated. It's articulated. I'm getting ready to use a word that I seldom do. Perfectly. It's perfectly articulated. Zero issue or complaint regarding it. The engineering, for the most part, is fun and intuitive. I guess if I was to be a bit more critical, I would say there are a couple elements that don't seem entirely locked in, which is been a criticism of my Iron Factory stuff recently that I've been able to look at, that like sometimes pieces just sort of lay against other pieces and don't really necessarily peg in, so to speak. But it is a small criticism, a minor one, because it doesn't really affect the enjoyment of the figure. This is really a home run. This is kind of a, in my opinion at least, a return to form with Iron Factory. There's been a couple releases that they've had recently that I've been like, I don't know what's going on here. This one seems like they've got their stuff together again. Really exceptional job. So a strong recommend for me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.